not all is well at work. I did expect there to be some groups, individuals, some people who are less than positive about trans folk in general. I was limited to less than 3 minutes, and so that posed a challenge, as you can imagine. Hi, another beautifully sunny blue day here in Poland, and yeah, I'm going to be taking a slightly different route to work today. And I'm always really self-conscious about walking around talking to my phone. I always try to find the moments of quiet when there are a few people around, and I have no idea how busy this is going to be, so we'll see, I guess. So, work. Several months ago now, I think, I made a video talking about my experiences of coming out at work, and I realised that that's been a while since I made that video, so it's time perhaps for a little update and to talk a little bit more about my experiences of being me at work. Now, as I said, I think in that video, coming out at work was, on the one hand, it was something I was wary about, but I wasn't necessarily worried about, because the type of culture that we have in my place of work is quite accepting. It's very EDI centric, which I think you can probably understand or recognize because of the stuff I was talking about with the film screening. And we've got loads of queer people, neurodivergent people who are quite open and supportive in their lives. So I wasn't worried as such, but my concern was more about the fact that I work like globally, essentially. So how does one come out to such a large, diverse number of people working all over the world in countries where literally it's illegal for me to be me, and still retain their support or respect or something like that, and how to kind of get across the message of how I would like them to work with me. Now, I knew that the people who I worked with, like physically in Warsaw, I could speak to individually, or I could just send out an email, a group email to everybody, and that would be fine. But there are people that I work with tangentially that I felt needed to know about my change, because I was going to be requesting that they refer to me by particular pronouns. But I think more importantly than that, I wanted to reassure them that everything was fine. And by everything I mean like the possible reactions, the kind of struggles they might have when it comes to making that change themselves. I wanted to make sure that people knew I understood what they might be experiencing, and that's fine, and I'm not going to hold that against them or anything. So it was a bit of a balance, because obviously I can't say that to everybody that I encounter, because there's thousands of them and one of me. So what to do? Also, in addition to that, I didn't want to make a big song and dance about it. I didn't want to kind of impose myself on people's days or their lives or whatever. So I wanted it to be fairly low impact. So I put a message, I embedded it in the pronouns of my signature, and thought, well, maybe let's let nature take its course, and organically people learned more about me that way. Some people shared that information and knowledge with others, and now I can quite confidently say, however many months later, it's about 250 days since I did that, I would say that I'm here. Whatever here means. And it's kind of funny because it's so almost anticlimactic. I've had a few emails of support or messages on Teams of support, and I didn't expect that many either, to be honest. Some, plenty, enough, I'd say, more than enough. The effort that people have put in as well to kind of get my pronouns right is just remarkable. Some people, they've taken the time to talk about me in Polish, for instance, and Polish is a very gendered language where basically every single word in a sentence needs to be reflective of the gender of the object, the character, the person that's being referred to. So it's quite a lot more effortful than just referring to me by she and her. There's more thought that has to go into it. So that's really beyond the call of duty, I would say. And it's just remarkable how people have pivoted. I mean, it's taken some people long, but as I said, that was fine. And I get to go about my day on a daily basis as me. Today, for instance, I'm walking into work in my favorite dress, and I won't get a single sideways glance or anything like that. I'm just me in the office, which is great, and it's exactly what I wanted. And I consider myself kind of like there. Again, whatever there means. It's great. I mean, that's not to say it's not without its challenges still. As I said in the last video, there was this weird update to the IT systems where they decided to change my name to my legal name. And this wasn't, just to clarify, this wasn't something against me personally. It was a universal change and has affected and continues to affect many people. Anybody who has changed their name from their legal one to a preferred one has been affected. And I'd say primarily it's people from certain countries who changed their names to be more westernized, which is interesting. It's kind of like an anti-erasure thing, but still, you know, they've opted to change their name for one reason or other, and that decision was taken away from them. That agency was removed from them. So I'd find that I did find it incredibly frustrating for myself, but for everybody affected by that change, that's really annoying. Good job, IT people. Well done. But otherwise, how have I found being trans at work? Well, you know, the coming out process is one thing, but there's also kind of the day-to-day stuff as well. And I did expect there to be some groups, individuals, some people who are less than positive about trans folk in general. And I've not really seen any of that personally. There have been a couple of exchanges in group emails on the EDI team, which have been a bit strange, I'm gonna say, but not overtly hostile or anything. So I don't think that there is this kind of like grand conspiracy to undermine trans people in my company or anything like that. Also, I recently released a video on the internal communications channel where, again, I talk about exactly what I've said here, just in a much shorter way. I was limited to less than 3 minutes, and so that posed a challenge, as you can imagine. But it's like the second most liked video of all time on that service. So I think it just goes to show how people can be supportive. I'm going to segue to updates, life updates, because not all is well at work. As you know, probably from last week, if you're sticking around and watching these sequentially, you'll know that there's been a lot of problems in my job in terms of looming redundancies and whatnot, and all this uncertainty and all of this uncertainty is killing me and so many other people. Morale is so low, and I feel like a lot of my work has just been for nothing, and that's really difficult to just stay positive in the face of. And it's kind of hard because my channel is called Transgender Positivity, and I do want to make this channel a space for positivity and to show that living your life as a trans person isn't necessarily some kind of, I don't know, not death sentence, but it opens up the possibility that you're going to have a horrible time. Because I don't think that's true. I think there is a lot of joy and happiness to be found in being a trans person. This is wild. I just seem to have walked into a construction site randomly. It's quite funny. Look at this. It's just construction. I don't know, whatever. Other people are here, so I guess it's fine. But anyway, it's a real challenge to remain positive, because it feels like there's a real kind of tension between my existence as a trans person, which I would say is remarkably wonderful. Like, in my own existence, I feel happier and more comfortable than I ever have. But everything else outside of that, work, politics, the looming threat of war, it's horrible. And it's so difficult to remain positive and optimistic, because it feels like there are so many reasons to not be. And I don't want to start looking sad, because then I know how it will be. It will be a question of people saying, oh, well, look, you've brought this upon yourself. But it's like, no, I haven't. None of the reasons for my unhappiness are due to me being trans. So yeah, it's pretty tough. And I have to be honest, I found this year to be really, really difficult for my own mental health. It's probably the lowest I've been, the most stressed I've been for years. And so I'm finding myself, I've called the employee assistance program number. I've made an appointment for some counseling next week, because I need help, you know, I need support, and I'm sure I'll get it, and I know I'll be fine. And I've got through hard times before, but I just don't know how much more strength I have. It's tough. It's tough. But don't worry, I'll be okay. Anyway, so comments of the week is actually connected to this, because I was thinking on Tuesday, if I really have the energy to be making more of these videos. And again, this isn't coming from, I think a lot of the time certain YouTubers make that kind of statement with a view perhaps to get an outpouring of support from their viewers. Don't leave us, no. But it's not that. I don't necessarily, well, I mean, it's nice to get support, of course, but it's genuinely, I'm exhausted, like mentally and physically. Like coming into work, it's such a struggle these days. But my comment or comments of the week actually came from not people in my comment section, but actual people in real life. I've had some wonderful conversations with people who know me in person and have told me how much they enjoy and appreciate my videos. Just regular folk. As much as you could call anybody regular, I suppose. But Clara, Sasha, Kate, thank you so much. Your words of encouragement and support mean more than you could ever imagine, because it has been a difficult year, and it's nice to know that even in my tiny corner of the internet, I can create a bit of interest, at least, if not positivity. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to say today. It's probably a little bit more rambly than usual. There's not a huge central theme or topic that I'm sticking to, but so it goes. Thank you so much to everybody who continues to support my channel. If you want to do so, I'll put the buy me a coffee information here and in the description below. Any tiny piece helps to keep this channel going, because it's just literally me, and who knows, maybe soon I'll be unemployed. Which means at least I'll have more time to dedicate to this channel, and I'll make these videos even more professional. I'll find some more music that I can play. Anyway, so thank you very much. Thanks a lot for sticking out and watching this video. I'd be curious to know what your experiences of work in your contexts are. Has it been easy if you've come out there to do so? And is there anything that you're particularly worried about? Have yourselves a wonderful week, and I hope I'll see you the same time next week. Take care.